Well, hello there. How are you going today? My name's Campbell. Thanks for joining me. And the world is not getting less strange. It's definitely an interesting time to be alive, right? But strange is not bad. Strange is not fear. Strange is just unusual, right? Different, which is good. We don't want the same thing all the time. So it is indeed another time to have a look at how strange the world is getting. Ah, yes, Artemis 2. Do you believe that three men and a woman went out and around the dark side of the moon and returned? What do you think? Because there's a lot of stuff coming out, obviously, about the travel, but the landing, why was there no steam? This capsule they were in should have been, like we saw, over 3,000 degrees, but it just hit the water and nothing. Didn't look hot, didn't look scorched. And yes, NASA does indeed own a plane that can carry something as heavy as the capsule they landed in and will fit it. And is that what's going on? You can even see videos where they track the aeroplanes, that airplane tracker app, and it shows a NASA plane out there just before the landing, just before the touchdown. But let me know your thoughts. Did they go, or was it all a show?
You realize anyone in this situation would just tie their hair up in some kind of bun or ponytail or something? But no, any female that's ever been in space, they always leave their hair out like this just to show you that they're truly in space. Her hair's been like this the entire time. Anyone would tie their hair up. What's going on with the letters on the stupid stuffed animal or whatever? You realize that doesn't make any sense, right? And you see how once it does that too, he just like casually moves it. Oh, nothing to see here. Notice how they always have something right in front of them just floating around because they're really trying to sell you on this whole space thing. Does that look comfortable? Why would you be in that position for an extended period of time with your head all bent like that? And let's not forget how this bag right here just phases right through Buddy's ear. If you can say with a straight face that you really think that all of this is real, then you have some serious problems. We are not the ones with the problem. We are the ones pointing out the problem.
It's before the Artemis 2 crew traveled the longest distance humans have
You're not serious. Any of the females that have ever been to space have never tied their hair up. That is the first thing you would do in that situation. This is pathetic, and you're even more pathetic if you believe their lies when they're intentionally making the videos look fake. What's up with bringing frickin' stuffed animals to space all the time? Not a single one of them had their frickin' hair tied up. Like, are you serious? For some reason, you'd rather look like that for the entire mission instead of just tying your hair up? Like, come on, they're not being serious. Neither one of them has their hair tied, just whipping everybody in the face. You guys are so dumb if you think all of this stuff has been real. Think all of this stuff is just gonna be floating around like that and not bolted to something? Why would there just be wires and electronics and all this stuff just floating around?
That's a very, very good point. Why don't they just tie up their hair? And to me, I've obviously got long hair. When you got long hair, like hair's falling out constantly, and they're in this, space capsule, whatever it is, rocket ship, and we're told it's all this high tech stuff, and that bits of hair floating around could get into all the, electronics and where it shouldn't be, couldn't it? So I mean, just as like a standard practice, you would think they would have to have their hair tied up, but no, they have to show us that they're in space and their hair's floating and the stuffed animal thing. It's like when those people got caught in space for what was it, 200 or 300 days and they couldn't get back. I think it was last year. But at Christmas time, they had Christmas hats, but they weren't even supposed to be up there at Christmas. I mean, it's really getting laughable. So, if you believe in space travel and they're out there doing that, please let me know why. I would love to hear why you think this is real, because there are so many issues, so many problems. It doesn't take much searching to just see that this is all CGI green screen. And that's, without mentioning the fact that NASA has a training pool with a full size replica model of the ISS in it. And the backside of the pool is a green screen. Why would that be? And why do spacesuits look exactly like deep sea diving suits? Let me know your thoughts.
If the United States saw what the United States was doing to the United States, the United States would invade the United States to liberate the United States from the United States!
Well, he's got a point, right? The United States, land of the free, home of the brave. But not so much anymore. It's a good story, bro. But what we see in reality, in actions taken by not just the president, but all of government, is directly against the people. And so, yeah, if the United States really was the United States, by the values that it puts forth, then it would definitely go and liberate the United States from the United States.
Over in the UK, they set up these cameras to charge people. It reads your number plate and they charge them for driving in the intercity areas, something about climate change. And the locals, people were like, no, we don't agree with this. We're not going to pay any more taxes. We pay enough as it is. Why would you do this? So they go around, they're cutting them down everywhere. The police have to admit that they can't keep up with it. They're starting to reuse the parts from old ones, broken ones. The people are winning here.
Yes, all of these obstacles, all of these challenges that we're being giving at the moment, in my mind, they are just giving us opportunity as well. The whole energy thing, it's showing us we shouldn't be relying on the system. We should be creating our own free energy, which we know exists. Same with the fuel, right? Hydrogen cars, there's lots of things you can do, to your car, not just the hydrogen, but to reduce fuel costs. Like, it's all solutions. This is what it's pointing us toward, in my opinion. What do you think? And what solutions are you getting from all of this strangeness?
Rising 600 meters above the surrounding plains of western Tunisia stands the Jugurtha Tableland, a vast flat-topped mesa spanning 80 hectares. Its sheer cliffs and isolated summit resemble a colossal petrified tree stump, carved by millions of years of erosion from ancient sedimentary layers. Local legends once called it a sacred or cursed place, while geologists see a classic example of differential erosion shaping one of North Africa's most dramatic natural monuments.
Giant tree stump or natural geological formation formed over millions and millions of years? What do you think? What do you think it is? Because that looked like a tree stump to me. And, I've said this many times, the reason that they put in and they need their millions of years is for all this stuff to form, to get their, time gives their silly script, plausibility. If it happens over millions and millions and millions of years, well, anything can happen, right? It's like evolution, billions and millions and trillions of years, but they still can't explain, how the eye developed, how the first fish got onto land and actually had lungs and not gills. There's so many questions. But the tree stumps, I mean, it's, the formations that they tell us are naturally made through wind and water erosion. It's ridiculous because they're all different. But whatever it is, millions and billions of years can make it possible.
This is radioactive water. This is the government would tell you to stay away from.
Bottoms up, bro.
This is from 1914, I believe.
Yeah.
No, 1912. And this is when they used to infuse radium into the water because they realized that when radium was in the water, in the clay, it turned it into the hot springs water. That's where the heat from the hot springs comes from. It comes from the radium, the thorium, and the plutonium that's actually in the water. And what they noticed was when people would drink out of this, it would get rid of arthritis, osteoporosis, all types of pain, neurological issues, and everything else. And so I've been doing experiments now for the last 4 days of drinking out of this. And I'll drink out of it right now and show you guys just so you can understand how radioactive this is. So check this. So we kind of put this in here. This says 48 right now. So that's off the charts. And if you put it all the way in, it's 90. Because this is radioactive water. This is the government would tell you to stay away from. Galen Windsor talked about how that was all a lie. And they lied to people because they didn't want them to connect to energy with radium. So on that note.
Bottoms up, bro. There you go.
Tastes like clay. And that's the thing is, they used to build things.
Yes, that was Matt from Cultivate Elevate. Great channel. What I like about him is he actually does all this stuff. He tries it out and tests it. And radium, we used to have radium springs everywhere, like radium fountains, radium springs where you would go and sit, and radium fires, right? Just radium in fireplaces to produce heat. And of course, then they brought out the story of the radium girls. If you haven't, heard of that, go check it out. But basically, women that were taking radium and they all died of radiation poisoning. Then of course, Marie Curie or Mercury, and that whole story of radiation, and then nuclear weapons and radiation. Right? It's just so deadly. It's out there. Believe us, it's going to get you. But when you put this stuff into practice, it's actually beneficial. And this is the thing. We know who the system are. We know who the elites are and what they think of us and what their plans are. So why would we believe anything they say? Basically, whatever they say, a good way to go is to do the exact opposite. But remember, guys, don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything you hear on the videos. This is all about being autodidactic, self-educated. So it's all about taking in information without fear. Don't get emotionally attached to it and come to your own conclusions. It doesn't mean you have to come to your conclusion while watching something the first time you hear information. It can just be interesting, right? And then the more information you get on that topic, the better and the clearer your perspective will become. And while I've got you here, thanks for joining me. Hope you're enjoying our little romp through the strange realm. Please, if you're enjoying this, do give me a like, share it around, hype it up, all that good stuff. And make sure you subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of all my future uploads.
So the first nuclear bomb was dropped on Hiroshima in August 6th of 1945, right? And this is what they tell us Hiroshima looks like a mere 4 days later. So this is Hiroshima, August 10th, 1945, 4 days after the nuclear bomb that was dropped on it. How are these streets perfectly cleared in 4 days? How are there people walking around in a nuclear fallout site? This whole area should be heavily irradiated. How are there still wooden trees and wooden utility poles here in a site where a nuclear bomb went off? This is in Nagasaki. This is in Nagasaki right afterwards as well. You see a completely unscathed wooden utility pole. I understand if, you might see some like wooden utility poles slightly scorched but are still standing. That's, okay, maybe to be expected. Even though it's a massive nuclear bomb that just detonates and supposed to wipe everything out. Was Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombed? Yeah, absolutely. But was it bombed by a nuke? I highly doubt it. I don't think nukes are real, to be honest with you. I think that's part of the whole fakery they use in this system to control us, to keep us scared, to keep us worried that we're always going to be under the threat of nuclear annihilation.
Fear, false evidence appearing real. And they have been pushing the nuclear thing since the 40s, right? Then, of course, it went into the Cold War of the 50s. Then, the 60s, right? Duck and cover. Remember that? If you're at school and a nuclear bomb falls, get under your desk. That's got to save you. So I agree. I don't believe that nuclear, there's no evidence that I have ever seen that nuclear weapons or bombs exist. And then we can talk about Fukushima, right? We're supposed to kill all the oceans because of nuclear radiation. Nothing happened. Chernobyl, same thing. Supposed to wipe out all the nature basically for, they were talking like thousands of years. It's now basically a nature park. It's blooming. It's like nature is not being retarded at all by the nuclear fallout. And then the bombs, right? Nagasaki and Hiroshima, like we saw, trees standing, wooden poles standing, random buildings standing, and then just all this other destruction around. It does not, it doesn't look like what they tell us should be happening with a nuclear bomb, right? Where everything just gets flattened and wiped out. And then you can go back and have a look at the clips of the nuclear bomb experiments in the 50s. And it's all little models. None of it's real. It's all models that they're blowing up. It's crazy. But fear, right? Fear is what they're after. They want people to get emotionally attached to this stuff and think, oh my God, if these countries have a war, they could wipe out the whole world. Just one crazy person with their finger on the button and we're all gone. Live in a state of fear, get emotionally attached to it. Oh my God, because that makes you more controllable. But let me know, do you think nuclear bombs are real?
There comes a moment in life when we realize that what we've been taught to accept as truth may not be the whole picture. We've just released a presentation from the Tesla Tech Conference called A New Understanding of the Universe. And in it, we explore a different way of looking at reality, one that invites you to question and to think and to see for yourself. It's not to replace one belief with another, but to give you the freedom to ask deeper questions. Because at a time when our world feels uncertain, clarity begins with the courage to look. So if you've ever felt like there was more to understand, this video is for you. Please watch the full video now. The link is in the bio. And share it with someone who's been searching. Make way for life.
The Tesla Tech Conference, A New Understanding of the Universe. I think that's what it was called. Haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure that a search on Google will find it for you. So go and check it out. And if you do, let me know what you thought. I think I'm going to have a look and have a watch of that myself, because I think we all need a new understanding of the universe at the moment, right? Something that is not from the mainstream.
I'm sitting in my car right now, just not feeling it. And I think that's the point. There's gonna be days where you don't feel your best, It's not that there's anything wrong. It's just that I'm just feeling meh. So in this moment, I'm thinking, what can I do to get out of this feeling? And this is going to be advice to you, but also note to self, like most of my videos are. I need to think about one good thing that happened today, this morning. I'm on my way to do some work, and I need to think about one positive thing that went well. When I start looking at one positive thing, then my brain starts to think, what other positive things are happening? And I can even, put that suggestion in my brain to say, start looking for more of the positive things that are happening. And eventually it works. And that's the trouble, is like, you feel like, this is like an exercise. This is another task on my list. But what happens is that you actually learn to appreciate the little things that happen, and they just build up over time until one day you wake up and you jump out of bed because you're so excited for the day. Note to self, note to me, note to you. Find one small thing that has improved your day, improved your life. Maybe it was a funny video, made you laugh. Maybe it was the fact that you got your coffee or drink of choice this morning and it just tasted perfect. It was like really good. If you're feeling like this today, let me know in the comments, or tell me what your good thing of the day is, and maybe that will inspire me to find something good also.
Where attention goes, energy flows. he's right. If you focus on the negative, you're just going to feel more negative, more helpless, feel that things are bad. But if you focus on the positive, then you'll start to see that things are actually pretty good. We get bombarded these days with the mainstream narrative that they want us to believe about, life, the universe, and everything, right? And it is overwhelmingly negative and fear based. Of course, fear being false evidence appearing real. There's another saying, I like my sayings, you may have noticed, from Shakespeare, apparently. Nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And from Jim Rohn, stand guard every day at the door to your mind. You have the power to let things in or not. You have the power to, if someone's saying something bad about you or that you don't like, you have the power to take that on or to just reject it and not let it get through the door to your mind. These are all choices we have, as well as the choice to focus on the good things. Like you said, it doesn't have to be big. If you're feeling down a bit meh, well, focus on something good that's happened. Have you got a good family, a good partner? Have you got a job? Did you get a good coffee? Did you see some birds flying around having fun? Have you seen some nice nature? Whatever it might be, just focus on that. And the more you focus on the good, the more good you will actually see. Because we have a thing inside our mind called the reticular activating system. Well, I guess it's inside our brain, probably both. The RAS. And its job is literally to make you right, because we can only take in so much information every day, with everything that's going on. And your RAS, it's the thing that makes you, when you want a new car and you suddenly see that car everywhere, that's your RAS because you're focused on it. So it's the same with good and bad. If you're focusing on the good stuff that's happening, it's going to show you more of that because that's what you believe is real. If you're focusing on the bad stuff, then it's going to show you more of that because, again, it's just there to make you correct. So my advice would be focus on the good. Focus on the good stuff, right? When you have something and called a glimmer, right? Something good that stands out to you, take a few seconds, stop and smell the roses, as they say, and take that in and feel good about it. Turn it into a positive thing. And as you do this, your mind will start to change. And then before you know it, you'll be seeing the good stuff everywhere. And of course, when you see the good in the world, you're going to feel a lot better in this world.
The fact that this is on the Daily Mail is wild. People are finally waking up to the fact that Mother Earth has a nervous system that fluctuates up and down just like our own nervous system. And if you want to be better prepared to handle spikes like the one that happened on April 4th, then you need to be prioritizing grounding on bare Earth, looking at the sunrise and sunset right into the disk every morning and night, drinking structured water, and actually going to bed on time. Additionally, you need to understand these two levers of your breath so that you can adjust your nervous system accordingly. If you're having trouble sleeping or you're too activated, then you need to focus on long exhales over here and slow inhales. If you're feeling more lethargic and tired, then you probably need to do an intentional session of fast and full inhales every day. The most important thing though is grounding yourself into your heart, into the center of your nervous system. And this is something that we do as a collective every day with the Daily Sync. You can join by commenting sync below, 100% free. Peace.
Yeah, I mean, we need to treat ourselves well. We can't expect to, be drinking crappy water, crappy things, eating crappy food, not getting enough rest, not connecting with nature. We can't avoid these things and expect to feel good, right? So aside from the last video, if you want something good to focus on for your day, well, maybe start going for a walk in bare feet on the earth and grounding. Maybe start getting up and sun gazing in the morning and in the evening if you can. I mean, these things help us, right? Because the energy source that we run off is nature, right? That's why sun gazing and grounding work. It's nature. That's why we feel better in nature. That's why time seems to slow down in nature, right? The energy source is not the internet and the screen, the 2D world, right? That's the false light. Right? That's the jinn, right? The smokeless fire, the electricity. That is the stuff that will sap your energy. And of course, we all need to be on the internet for at least sometimes these days. Well, I mean, we don't have to, but a lot of us work online, right? And we need it for that way and for communication and everything. But that's what it should be, a tool. It shouldn't be something that we get on because we're bored and we just start doom scrolling, as they say. And it's called doom scrolling for a reason, because most of the stuff that you're going to see is going to be talking about doom and gloom. So it may be a good idea to reduce the time you spend doing that and replace it with nature time.
Chosen. Do you think it's an accident that you've been chosen to awaken? At the most crucial, the most pivotal point in the evolution of human consciousness that this planet has ever seen. You think that's a coincidence? No. Source trusts you. Source loves you. And I don't care what obstacle is in front of you. I don't care how unmovable that mountain may seem. I don't care how massive that cult is that stands against you. I need you to remember and I need you to know that the power that is behind you is absolute. And it does not fail. Therefore, you cannot fail. I love you all.
And I love you all too. You cannot fail. You have the universe, right? You have God inside of you and outside of you, and whatever name you want to put on it, right? God, source, universe. It's got your back, but only if you believe that, because we are the creators of this reality, and we do that through our thoughts, the visions in our heads, the visualization and our intention. And so, it's getting back to the other video about, focusing on the good rather than the bad. If you think you're all alone and nothing's there to help you and it's all hard and the system sucks, well, unfortunately, that's what you're going to be shown, and you're going to start believing that more and more. But if you believe in yourself, if you become responsible, which is respondable, right? Responsibility is respondability. If you have the thought and the focus and the intention that you can get through it all, and you have the ability to respond well, then things will definitely start changing for the better in your world. And I have a saying, right? I've done lots of, pretty crazy stuff, especially over the last 5 years, as far as just putting myself out there. And my little mantra for that is, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway.
I bet you can't go 10 seconds without thinking. And that is why you're not living your life, you're narrating it. Let's say you're talking to someone, and then you start to pull yourself out of the experience. Do they like me? Did that sound weird? I should look like I'm listening better. You feel something. You instantly label it. This is anxiety. Wait, no, this must be that thing that I ate before. I wonder if there was anything in that food that would have made me sick. You're relaxing. No, wait, I should be doing something. What's on my to-do list? And that's why even when you're being lazy, you're still burnt out. Because you don't even know how to relax in the moment without narrating it. Okay, now let's say you finally get that thing. I wanted more money. I wanted this job. I wanted to be living in this place. Now you're here. But instead of living in the moment that you wished for, you think, what's next? I need more money. I need a better job. No, you're enlightened. You're one with the universe. So, 1111, that must be a sign. Oh my God, 222. I wonder what the universe is trying to tell me. Maybe you have something really important to do. So you continue to rehearse it. And then after, you continue to replay it. And now you finally have a moment of silence to just relax. I wanted to listen to that podcast. Or check out that thing on Amazon. You know what? Let me play some music. And then I'll actually just scroll on my phone. Or you're sitting there with the love of your life that you've always dreamed of. But instead you're like, why are you eating that? I thought you didn't like that. The whole fuss about it last time. Or let's see if they're going to put the dish away in the right spot. Replaying past annoyances or anticipating future ones. Missing the very moment of spending time with the person that you love most. Or literally ruining your life by thinking about it. We just did a whole breakdown on this on my Tuesday Night Live on YouTube. And a bunch of the comments kept bringing up how to not do this during meditations, how to not do this when you're under hypnosis. So there's a lot of really fun tangents. And consider joining my Substack. The entire 2026, we're doing a program that I created called Now is Enough. And it calls you out and uses hypnosis to bring you back to the present moment with some pretty fun tools.
There you go. There's solutions everywhere. There's another, I think that's the third one today, right? We had a show by Terence and a couple of groups you can join. And why not? Instead of doom scrolling, why not turn that time into something positive that's going to help you grow, that's going to, evolve your mind into something more of what you want, into the machine that will create the future you want. Much better in the long run, right? Much better all over than just scrolling random stuff on social media. And yes, I understand the irony that I am now on YouTube making this video, pretty much telling you not to watch things like this. But that's why I do this. You know, there's so many videos like this, you know, where people just sit there and watch videos and they don't say anything, and they just, you know, that's weird. That's why I started, because I thought that we should be talking about this, right? Let's put some perspective in. Let's put some background to these videos rather than just watching, you know, the videos go by without any context. So that's why I do love you guys commenting, so, you know, commenting below. So make sure you do. But, you know, the point of that video was, are you in the present, right? Because now is a gift. That's why it's called the present. So are you someone that is present with people, or are you someone that when you're having a conversation, you're thinking about something else, you're worrying about something, you're trying to work out what you're going to say in response, right, in the conversation? Because all of that is not being present, and that means you're not actually living life. Like, if you're not present in the now and involved in life, you're not living it. And, you know, the worst thing I can think of is being on your deathbed and having regret. I didn't do this. I didn't live enough. I wasn't myself enough. You know, I didn't pay attention to the ones I loved. All these things. And all of these decisions are made in the now, in the moment, because the past and the future don't exist, right? They don't. You can't go to the past. You can't go to the future. You can imagine the future and you can remember the past. But the imagined future is just that. It's just an imagination, right? Yes, visualization helps to create what we want, but it's the intention and, you know, the emotional attachments through those visualizations that really get things going, because it's about your energy level, right? Raising your vibration, right? Getting excited about life again. That's what the key is. And of course, the past is subjective. You can go and find 5 people that were at an event 10 years ago and talk to them all about it, and they will all tell you a different story. So the future and the past, they're both subjective. The now is where we need to be, where we need to live. And from that, project into the future, project the world that we want through our intention and our vibration, which is the thoughts we think and the images we see in our mind. But please let me know, what are your thoughts on all of these videos? You know, especially the last bit, we sort of went a bit spiritual in the end there, right? A bit self-improvement, if you want. But I think, you know, this is the kind of stuff that we need to be reminded of, especially with the amount of doom and gloom that is being thrust at us, you know, 100% of the time through social media, right? You never hear the government telling you good news. It's always bad. It's always fear. It's always be scared of what's coming. But it's just a story, guys. It's all a story, and we get to change that if we want to. But there you go. We've hit the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed that one. Please do give me a like if you've enjoyed this video. Share it around, hype it up. Of course, if you're not subscribed, what the bloody hell are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, because I've looked at the statistics and many people who watch these videos aren't subscribed. So I would appreciate it subscribe, because it helps the algorithm, right? It will help get these videos pushed out to more people, as will your comments. And also, if you do watch these videos, please watch them right to the end, like you are clearly doing right now. That also helps to get these videos out to a bigger audience. And I personally would appreciate it. So thanks for spending some time with me. Hope you enjoyed that one. Stay awesome, because you are. And I'll talk to you on the next upload. Bye for now.
Jackie, did you dig this hole?
Bear.
Who did this? Who did it?
Who did this?
Well, well, well. Who chewed the headset? Who chewed the headset?
What did you do?
I just don't understand. This is crazy to me.
Who ate the Hawaiian rolls?
Did you eat her food? Did you eat her food?
Murphy. Dude.
Are you proud?
Bang!
Oh my god. I'm about to beat the fuck out of you.
Dude, if he fucking jumped, oh my. What the fuck are you doing?
Won't retrieve a duck, but by God, he can point a bag of dill pickle chips.
Bad dog.
Rocky, why you look scared? That's why he's scared.
Who did poop? What's this?
Who did that? Who did that, Chewie? Who was that?